Welcome back to Old Charles, your trusted channel for rare coins, numismatics, and coin values from around the world. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating history and value of the Australia 20-cent coin from 1976. If you've got one of these in your pocket or coin collection, stay tuned, because its history may surprise you, and its value might be worth more than face value. The Australian 20-cent coin was first introduced in 1966, when Australia switched from pounds, shillings, and pence to the decimal currency system. The 20 cent replaced the old florin, which was worth 2 shillings. The coin's design was created by artist Stuart Devlin, who was known as the Royal Goldsmith, and designed many of Australia's circulating coins. The reverse features the famous platypus swimming gracefully, symbolizing Australia's unique wildlife and identity. On the obverse side, in 1976, you'll find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Arnold Machin. This portrait was used on Australian coins from 1966 until 1984. So, the 1976 20-cent coin proudly carries this Machin portrait of the Queen. In 1976, the Royal Australian Mint produced around 83.6 million 20-cent coins. That means it's not particularly rare in terms of circulation, but condition plays a very big role in determining its value today. Most of these coins went into everyday transactions, and after decades of use, many are now scratched, worn down, or tarnished. However, collectors always seek out coins in uncirculated or proof condition, which makes those examples more valuable. So, what's the value of the 1976 Australia 20-cent coin today in circulated condition? This coin is usually only worth its face value, about 20 cents in Australia. However, in very fine to extremely fine condition, collectors might pay between $1 to $3 AUD. If you're lucky enough to have one in uncirculated or mint condition, its value can go up to around $10 to $15 AUD. Special proof sets, which were struck for collectors in 1976, can fetch even higher prices depending on their quality and packaging. Keep in mind, errors and rare varieties, such as coins with misstrikes, off-center designs, or planchet flaws, can be worth much more. Some error 20-cent coins have sold for hundreds of dollars at auction. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is king. The grading scale goes from poor, good, fine, very fine, extremely fine, all the way up to uncirculated and proof. Worn coins ** from circulation usually have little to no collector value. Shiny uncirculated examples ** are highly collectible. And proof coins, which were made with extra care, polished dies, and mirror-like surfaces, are always the most desirable. So, before you spend that 1976 20-cent coin in your change, check its condition carefully. You might be holding on to something worth far more than 20 cents. The 1976 Australian 20-cent coin may not be extremely rare, but it represents an important part of Australia's decimal coinage history. Its iconic platypus design makes it a favorite among collectors worldwide. If you've got one in uncirculated or proof condition, you've got a little treasure in your collection. And who knows, you might even stumble upon a rare error coin worth hundreds. We'll explore one of Australia's most iconic pieces of decimal coinage, the 1976 Australia 20-cent coin. This coin may look ordinary at first glance, but behind it lies a rich history of Australia's currency transition, coin design, and cultural identity. Let's dive deep into its fascinating story. To understand the 1976 20-cent coin, we need to go back to the year 1966, when Australia officially abandoned the old British-inspired currency system of pounds, shillings, and pence. This was a massive change for the nation. For decades, Australians were used to calculating prices in complex fractions, but on 14 February 1966, everything changed when the government introduced the decimal currency system. The new system introduced the dollar, which was divided into 100 cents. To replace the old florin coin, which was worth 2 shillings, the 20-cent coin was born. It was large, silver-colored, and had a modern design that symbolized Australia stepping forward into a new economic era. The design of the 20-cent coin was given to the brilliant artist and sculptor Stuart Devlin, who would later be known as the Royal Goldsmith. Devlin designed many of Australia's decimal coins, but the 20-cent coin stood out because of its unique reverse design, a platypus swimming through rippling water. The platypus was chosen deliberately. At that time, Australia wanted its new decimal coins to represent its native wildlife and identity. Unlike many other countries that featured kings, emperors, or historical symbols, Australia used its coins to celebrate the natural environment. The platypus, being a rare and unusual mammal found only in Australia, was perfect. With its duck-like bill, webbed feet, and semi-aquatic lifestyle, it became an icon of the new decimal era. On the obverse side, the coin carried the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold McKim. This portrait had first been introduced in 1966 and remained on Australian coins until 1984. McKim's portrait shows a younger queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara de BY 1976. The 20-cent coin had already been circulating for a decade, and it had become one of the most widely used denominations in Australia. Its large size made it popular in everyday transactions, whether for a bus fare, a cup of coffee, or shopping at the market. The coin quickly became part of Australian daily life. The year 1976 itself was also significant. It marked the 10th anniversary of Australia's decimal currency system. By then, the public had fully adjusted to dollars and cents, and the 20-cent coin had firmly replaced the old florin. That year, the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra struck over 83 million pieces of the 20-cent coin to meet circulation needs. But while the coin was common in circulation, its design and role in Australian currency history made it an important piece for collectors. It represented stability in the country's economy during the mid-1970s, a period of both inflation and growth. Coins like the 20-cent became symbols of everyday life, connecting Australians across generations. The coin's composition was also worth noting. It was struck in copper-nickel, giving it durability and a silvery appearance. This allowed the coin to withstand decades of circulation. Many coins from 1976 still survive today, though most are heavily worn due to long-term use. From its introduction in 1966 until today, the 20-cent coin has remained unchanged in its design, still featuring the platypus after nearly 60 years of use. That makes the 1976 issue not just a piece of pocket change, but a part of an enduring Australian tradition. In 1976, the Royal Australian Mint produced about 83.6 million 20-cent coins. This makes it a common coin compared to some lower mintage years. Because so many were struck, most of the 1976 coins went into everyday circulation. However, collectors pay close attention to their condition. After nearly 5 decades, it is difficult to find these coins in pristine, uncirculated condition. So what is this coin worth today in heavily circulated condition? It usually holds only face value, about 20 cents. In very fine to extremely fine condition, collectors may pay between $1 and $3 AUD. In uncirculated condition, the coin's value can rise to $10 to $15 AUD. Special proof strikes, sold in sets in 1976, can fetch even higher prices depending on their rarity and condition. And remember, error coins are highly collectible. A 1976 20-cent coin with a minting error, such as being struck off-center or missing details, can be worth hundreds of dollars at auction. Condition is the most important factor when it comes to value. Circulated coins scratched, tarnished, and worn coins are usually only worth face value. Uncirculated coins bright, shiny coins with no wear are far more valuable. Proof coins specially made with mirror-like surfaces, are always the most prized by collectors. If you have a 1976 20-cent coin, check it carefully. It may be a regular circulation coin, or it might be an uncirculated or proof coin with much higher value. The 1976 Australian 20-cent coin is more than just change in your pocket. It tells the story of Australia's decimal transition, celebrates its unique wildlife, and remains a coin that millions of Australians remember using in everyday life. Even though it is not extremely rare, its historical importance and connection to the decimal currency era make it a valuable piece for collectors and history enthusiasts. So before you spend it, take a closer look. You may just have a small treasure in your hands. When we talk about the value of any coin, the most important factor isn't just the year or how many were minted, it's the condition of the coin. The same 1976 Australian 20-cent coin can be worth just 20 cents if it's heavily worn, or up to $15 or more if it's in pristine uncirculated condition. Collectors use an internationally recognized grading scale to describe the condition of coins. Let's walk through the main categories and how they apply to the 1976 20-cent coin. These are coins that have been in circulation for decades and are almost unrecognizable. On a 1976 20-cent coin in poor condition, the platypus may be so worn that much of its detail is lost, and the Queen's portrait on the obverse may look flat and featureless. Scratches, dents, discoloration, and even bends are common, and this grade, the coin is usually only worth face value, 20 cents, and mainly has sentimental or historical value rather than collector value. In good to fine condition, the coin is still heavily circulated, but the details are a bit clearer. You'll still see wear on the Queen's crown, hair, and facial features, as well as flattening of the platypus design. The water ripples behind the platypus may be faint or worn down. These coins are very common, and while they are collected by beginners, they don't usually carry more than 20 cents to 50 cents in value at this level. The coin starts to look much sharper. The Queen's hair and crown will still show wear, but the main details remain visible. The platypus will look more distinct, and the ripples in the water will be partially visible. 1976 coin in very fine condition may sell for $1 to $2 AUD, especially to collectors trying to complete a date set.an. Extremely fine coin has only light wear from circulation. You'll notice that most of the Queen's features are still clear, with small signs of rubbing on the highest points of her hair and crown. The platypus design will be detailed, and the background ripples will still be sharp, and this grade, a 1976 20-cent coin, can sell for around $2 to $3 AUD. While that may not sound like much, it's significantly more than face value. These coins are almost uncirculated, with just slight traces of wear visible under close inspection. They may have been used only a few times or stored away for most of their life. An about uncirculated 1976 coin can bring between $5 and $8 AUD, depending on the buyer. Uncirculated coins are the crown jewels of collectors. These coins have never been used in everyday transactions. Their surfaces are still bright and lustrous, with no visible wear, only the natural contact marks that come from the minting and packaging process. 1976 20-cent coin in full uncirculated condition can be valued between $10 and $15 AUD, and in some cases, even more if it is exceptionally clean and shiny. Finally, there are proof coins. These weren't made for circulation at all, but were specially struck for collectors using polished dies and blanks. Proof coins have mirror-like fields and frosted designs, making them incredibly attractive. The Royal Australian Mint issued proof versions of the 20-cent coin in 1976 as part of proof sets. These coins can sell for $20 to $40 AUD or more, especially if still housed in their original packaging. Collectors aren't just buying the year of the coin, they're buying quality and beauty. A coin that's bright, sharp, and free of wear stands out in any collection. That's why two coins of the same year can differ so dramatically in value. Another key factor is storage. Coins kept in protective holders, albums, or capsules tend to survive in better shape. Meanwhile, coins left in drawers or used as pocket change become scratched, dull, and worn. So, if you happen to own a 1976 Australian 20-cent coin, take a close look. Does it have clear details? Is the surface shiny or dull? Are there scratches, stains, or corrosion? All these factors play a huge role in how much your coin is worth. Circulated examples are usually only worth 20 cents to a couple of dollars. Uncirculated and proof examples are far more desirable and can fetch higher prices. Always check carefully. You might have a coin that looks ordinary but is actually in mint state, making it a small treasure for collectors.